In this video, I'm going to talk about how I prepare a Shakespeare monologue, work on it, memorize it, and break it down in order to make it ready for an audition or performance. Hi, my name is Zeke. I was homeschooled growing up, which means I had to read a lot of Shakespeare. He was my only friend in my little antisocial homeschool life. No, I'm totally kidding. I was really cool and had a lot of friends. Anyway, I really love Shakespeare. It's always good to have some Shakespeare monologues in your back pocket that you can just whip out and perform. The last video I posted on this channel was a monologue from Hamlet, Act 1, Scene 2, and I wanted to sort of share how I prepare a monologue and what you should be thinking about as you approach a Shakespeare monologue if you're preparing it for an audition, or if you're just interested in reading Shakespeare or learning more about him. That brings me to my first point of what you should do when approaching a monologue, and that is to read the play. Number one, you gotta read the stinking play. Yeah, that's true of any monologue from any play, and if you're an actor, you already know this, you gotta read the show. The reason for this is because if you wanna perform a monologue, you have to understand the context of the monologue, where the character was emotionally before the monologue, where the character emotionally is going, where he is after the monologue, how the other characters relate to him, the time, the place, the setting, the who, what, when, where, why, and the why probably being one of the most important things in that. And you can't understand that unless you actually read the play. So, first thing to do is read the play. All right, so I just got home from work and I started Hamlet on the train on the way back home. So now I'm gonna sit and try and get through as much of it as possible so that it'll be closest to as if I was seeing it in real life in person. So, here we go. Gosh. Oh, okay. That's all I'm gonna read for tonight. I read about 123 pages and I'm just gonna have to take a break right now because I am so tired I'm gonna fall asleep. And my gosh, Act 2, Scene 2 is like the longest scene I think I've ever read in a Shakespeare play. All of that is one scene. That's Act 2, Scene 2. My gosh, that just took so long to read. Anyway, I'm gonna have to finish the rest later, but I'm about halfway down right now, so. All right, so a day has passed, it's the next day, so I'm gonna finish the play now. I'm gonna finish the second half. But for the second half, I wanna do it in a bit of a more freeing space. I've been inside all day and I haven't been outside. So I'm gonna go to Central Park to finish the book. It's always good to go to places that are creatively liberating for you. So anyway, here we go. And boom, here we are. This is Central Park. I just really love it here. Kind of helps me clear my mind a bit, and I enjoy reading in the park. So we just had a beautiful sunset. I'm gonna set this up and I'm gonna finish Hamlet. All right, here we go. It's getting a little chilly, so just put on the old hood. Oh, done. All right, so now we've stinking read the entire play, and we can go on to the next step, which I will explain at home because it is dark and I am cold. I should probably mention when reading through a text or a play, if there are words you don't understand or references that you don't get, you should stop and look them up and read them. It takes a lot longer to get through the text, but it's so much more fulfilling when you do. There's no point in reading the text if you're just gonna brush through everything that you don't understand. You gotta understand what you're reading. This took a lot longer than I thought. It probably took a total of like 5.5 hours for me to read Hamlet. But there's a lot of stuff that I had to stop and keep looking up, so. All right, I'm working on finishing memorizing this, and then once I've got it memorized, I'm gonna actually try and work on it, get it ready for performance. Of course, it's gonna be nowhere near what it ought to be, but we don't have a lot of time and I've gotta prepare this quick. So I'm gonna finish memorizing this and then we'll go from there. All right, well, that didn't work. It's pretty stinking windy. Followed by poor father's body. All right, it's pretty insanely windy and cold. Again, I am gonna turn the camera off, finish memorizing this. I'll see you back home when hopefully this bad boy is ready to rock. Okay, so I am home and I've got the thing memorized, and so what I want to do now is really try and analyze the text as best as I can. I never really do this. I hate looking at other people performing a monologue or soliloquy that I'm about to perform. I hate it because then I only ever get in my head and compare myself to that other person. So I'm not gonna watch other people perform it, but for people who know what they're talking about, for instance, I found this video from the Royal Shakespeare Company, and the Royal Shakespeare Company is like the #1 Shakespeare company in the world, really. And so I think it's gonna be helpful for just getting some insight into the monologue. So let's check this video out together, shall we?
So when you're looking at a soliloquy like this for the first time, there are a lot of different clues that you can look for to help you unpick it or understand it better. There's something specific about being weary as opposed to stale, or stale as opposed to flat. It feels like he begins.
That's a good point too. He's referring to a line in the soliloquy where Hamlet says, "Oh God, comma, how weary, stale, flat, and unprofitable seem all the uses of the world to me." And so he's pointing out, look, those are different states of being. Being weary is different from being stale, which is different from flat and unprofitable. Those commas indicate those changes in emotion and states of being and action. So anyway, let's see.
Just the opening of that word, oh, this too sullied, it's already opening out a space, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and that's
this too
performing wise
sullied
can always be most difficult. It's an exclamation, a bit like fi or oh.
Yeah. All right. Well, I appreciated that video. They clearly stinking know their stuff, and those are all good reminders that I needed. Now the challenge is just to do it, and to do it well. I feel like I have an idea of the direction of the monologue at this point, and I need to be able to do it. And the way I'm gonna do that is by referring to that book, A Shakespeare Actor Prepares, and also Stanislavski. Let's go look at them right now. Okay, so in Hamlet, the Hamlet that we see in scenes with other people is like an unfinished portrait. It says, in society, he's only half himself. Only when he is alone is he complete. That's important to know, because then that means that when he's alone, he can finally, it's like, throwing off a burden or a false sense of self, which I totally can relate to. Like working a 9 to 5 is really great, and I appreciate it, and being in a professional environment is nice, but sometimes it feels like I'm wearing a mask of someone who's not fully, I can't be fully myself. I have to be professional. So it's nice when I get to come home and just tear my clothes off and dance naked. I'm totally kidding. What's helpful is this guy, along with this guy, remind us that it is through action that we achieve storytelling and emotional states. The emotional states come through action. We must act. Anyway, I'm gonna read through some more of this to prepare, and then I'll also take a look at some of Stanislavski's stuff. What is truly beautiful has nothing to fear from disfigurement. Indeed, disfigurement often emphasizes and sets off beauty in higher relief. My gosh, Stanislavski, come on! That's why you're the stinking father of modern acting. All right, well, I have my work cut out for me. We'll see where we're at tomorrow morning. We gotta shoot tomorrow. It's happening tomorrow. All right, here we go. It is performance day. I'm putting on my black because Hamlet, in the first act of the play, and I think throughout, wears black because he is mourning his father, and he's the only one who's mourning his father, really. He's the only one still in black. And I was trying to decide between whether or not to wear a tie or not, because I think it kind of looks cool not to wear a tie. But I decided to wear a tie because I figured that Hamlet is wearing black because he is mourning his father. So he's wearing black out of respect for his father. And so it wouldn't make sense for him to sort of not have his tie on, sort of rebel against wearing black, because he's the one who's choosing to do it for his father. When you have a suit on and not a tie, it feels kind of like you're being casual. Like, yeah, I'm not wearing a tie, but I'm wearing a suit, whatever, I don't care. But I feel like Hamlet does care, so I'm gonna wear a tie. I feel pretty good about the monologue. I wish that I could work on it for a while, enough time, but there just is no time. I feel so rusty, man. It's been so long since I've performed anything. Here we go. All right, I think that'll work. Too sullied flesh would melt. Thaw, what the flip? All right, and yet, within, you cannot check your phone, big man. I am. So those are some of the super basic preliminary things to do when approaching a Shakespeare monologue for the first time. I didn't want to go too much in depth in this video because I sort of just wanted to give you a sense of how many hours ought to be put or how much work ought to be put into preparing a monologue. And admittedly, this monologue was pretty rough. I feel like I haven't even scratched the surface of the monologue. It still has, there's so much work that needs to be done on it. As I was looking at the footage back from this video, I was like, oh my God. It was so painful. For now, I feel like that was a pretty good start and I'm pleased with where we're at. This was sort of a different video than the kind that I've been making recently. If you enjoyed it, let me know in the comments. It's helpful. If not, let me know in the comments. If you don't care either way, let me know in the comments. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.